Well, hello everyone. Let's see. This is day 30/31, and just been chipping away at it. Made it well up. Well, I made it up into Virginia, and got into Virginia. There's a few places around where I was able to get some internet, but for the most part, seems like some of the motels I've been staying in, there's been no internet. So it's been a while since I've been able to get a video uploaded. But still making progress, still moving along. Right now, let's see, I just got a new map of Virginia. Right now we're in a little place called Rural Retreat, and got a pretty good walk tomorrow, I think, because I need to make it all the way over to Wytheville in order to get to the next place where I can get to an exit that has place to eat and place to stay and that sort of thing. So I think that's going to be somewhere between 16 and 18 miles. So that's going to be quite a walk. But I am getting up into I'm definitely getting up into Virginia, putting my sights on Roanoke, which is I think less than 100 miles now. I think it's maybe even somewhere around 80 miles, something like that, 85 miles. So making good headway. Meeting a few people along the way, some interesting folks. Definitely met a great group of people. Let's see, what was the name of that little town? It had a very much Indian name, Chilhowie it's called. And there's a little place there where I stayed called Chilhowie Pizza. And I went in there and sat down to get a little bite to eat, and gentleman came in. I think Paul was his name, actually. Gentleman came in, heard that he had originally lived, or he at one point lived in Florida, so it caught my ear, and we began talking about Florida because we lived in Florida for a while. And of course, conversation turned to what I was doing, and of course that turns into politics. And just having kind of an open discussion there. Then the owner came over, the waitress, and a couple of great people that were also eating dinner. Husband and wife, Bradley, and his wife, who I apologize so much, Bradley, I can't remember the name of your wife, and I feel really bad about that. But we had great discussion, and as usual, as most of the people that I talked to, I'm going to say 90 to 95% of the people that I talk to all agree that, or at least believe that we are absolutely heading in the wrong direction. And it is very unnerving to think that, with everything that is going on, every single solution that's coming out of this administration, every single solution has got to do with the government taking over more and more and more of our lives. And that's becoming very unnerving to a lot of Americans. And we keep hearing over and over that people don't understand why Americans are getting upset and why Americans are concerned, or that just Americans are racist and everybody's against the Obama administration because he's black. Well, then I have to ask the question, why am I so upset and disappointed and ready to take out to get rid of Nancy Pelosi and Harry Reid and some of the other senators and congressmen who are openly ignoring the Constitution and openly ignoring the rules of law and doing things behind closed doors, and so the argument just doesn't hold water. We need to remember that Obama told us initially to judge me by the people that I have around us, or that I have around me. And we've seen those people, Reverend Wright and Van Jones and Anita Dunn, I think, and Rahm Emanuel, and on and on and on and on, Andy Stern. And all of these people are socialists, every single one of them. Socialist Marxists, for that matter. So when Obama continues to come up with solutions that only involve the government coming in and taking over and imposing more regulations and more government, I don't think it's too hard for anybody with half a brainstem to understand. That's why America's getting upset. That's why America's getting angry. The sad part about all this is, with all these takeovers that the government has intervened with, the one thing we don't know is what would have happened, really and truly, what would have happened if the government would have just kept its nose out of it for a while. like the auto industry. You know, they dumped all this money in there to gain control and controlling shares. But what would have happened if because at the end of the day, the two automakers went bankrupt anyways, and that's what would have happened in the normal course of things. So, you know, what we don't know is what would have happened if everybody would have just kept their nose out of things. And I think that's something we need to start considering. There's no way you can convince me that every single problem and every single solution is going to involve the government taking over and imposing more and more and more regulations. I got a phone call coming in, which makes it a little hard to concentrate on, but I'll catch that in a minute. And I think that's a big part of why America's getting pretty upset with all this, and pretty angry with all this. But let's keep in mind, there's been no violence. And which tells me it's just another area where the government's trying to hoodwink the American people into believing, or trying to make people believe that this is going to be somehow violent. And yet, do you hear a whole bunch about the fact that since Arizona passed that law, those people out there got violent that very day. They were throwing rocks, and it was it was quite a scene. And yet, geez, no big deal. All of those Hispanics and Mexicans, no big deal. But, when we disagree with the president, boy, automatically we're racist, and we're this, and we're that. There's a huge dichotomy going on in this country, and there's a huge spin of information that's trying to convince the American people that it's something that it's not. And I think America is waking up to it, but what we've got to decide, America, is this. We are at the crossroads. There are people in high places now that are really believers in Marxism and socialism, and are moving to take the country in that direction. So the question is to the American people, what America do we want to now start, what road do we want America to start heading down? Do we want America to move down the road of socialism and Marxism? Or do we want to keep America on the path of freedom and liberty? We're going to all have to ask ourselves this question. I still believe in my heart that the majority of the people will choose freedom and liberty. And it's time that we make that stand. It's time that we all jump out of our comfort zones and begin standing up for that. Because if I'm wrong, I need to know that. I don't think I am. But America's going to have to make a choice, because we are at that crossroads. We're moving very swiftly down the road to socialist Marxism. And it's up to we, the people, to determine finally which way we want to go. I don't believe that the Obama administration gaining the presidency was a vote for socialism. I believe America was duped in a lot of ways. Number one, I believe that Obama ran more as a moderate than he did the very extreme left that he's now showing that he is. So I think a lot of people in the middle are maybe starting to understand that this is a very radical left movement that we've got now in the White House administration. And let's just be totally honest. A lot of the black folks came out and voted for Obama simply because he was the first black president that we would have. And I don't have a problem, regardless of what people out there want to try to label me as, I don't have a problem with a black president. But that alone is not the reason to elect the president. And if he was a white president, I think you'd see that the black vote wouldn't have come out quite as strong, and he may not have carried the election. So why do I say this? I say this not because it was wrong for the black community to come out and make a historic vote. What I'm saying is that does not equate into America now wants to be socialist. And that's exactly what they're trying to tell us. They're trying to force feed us that. You know, Biden, I think it was, that came out and said, well, you know, the vote for, or maybe it was the Reverend there that came out and said the vote for Obama was a vote for socialism. No, sir. No, sir, it wasn't. America was duped. And there were other factors that put this administration into power. So it's up to us, America, is what I'm trying to say. And I know that all of the folks involved with TEAM already know this, and I'm preaching to the choir. The point is, we have got to get out and start spreading this message. So to become a member of TEAM is great. It's a super thing. And it's what we need. But a static member is going to do us no good. We need active members getting out there, and in the words of Obama himself, getting in their faces and talking to people and making people come out and stand strong for freedom, liberty, in America. That's about out of time for now. God bless you. God bless America. And I will talk to you soon. I will keep walking. I promise.